You know, in a world that is just constantly shouting, what if I told you the greatest power actually lies in what we don't say? Today, we're going to unlock 7 secrets from the one and only Socrates, the ancient philosopher who totally understood that some truths, well, they're best protected by the strength of our silence. Let's dive in and see what they are.
So, Socrates hits us with this powerful warning right out of the gate. And let's be real, it's a total gut check. It's a reminder that even when we have the best intentions, our own words can literally become our own undoing. It's not just about what you say, it's about the incredible and sometimes dangerous power packed into every single sentence. The whole story behind these secrets starts right here, with Socrates and his student Plautus, who's clearly going through something. And Plautus asked this question we've all felt, right? If I just unload everything, won't my heart finally feel lighter? But Socrates' answer is this crucial warning. That feeling of relief, it can be a really dangerous illusion.
And that leads us perfectly into our first set of secrets. They're all about one critical idea: building a fortress around your personal world to keep it safe from all the outside noise and interference.
Okay, the first secret is so simple, but it's incredibly profound. Keep your family issues inside the family. The second you start exposing those private struggles, those little cracks in the foundation to the outside world, you're not really inviting help. You're inviting judgment, you're inviting gossip, and you're inviting people to meddle.
So Socrates tells the story of 2 brothers who were just always at each other's throats. One day, the older brother decides to take their private fight public, just airing all their dirty laundry in the middle of the marketplace. And the result? The entire family's reputation was destroyed. It's a really harsh lesson. The world rarely wants to heal your wounds. More often than not, it just wants to pour salt on them for a little entertainment.
All right, building on that idea of protecting your inner world, the second secret is all about your finances. Socrates taught that talking about your wealth is like hanging a giant flashing neon sign for thieves, inviting jealousy and greed right to your front door.
And he illustrated this with a story about a king who just couldn't resist showing off all his treasures. What happened next? Well, just days later, a rival king invaded and took everything. The lesson is a simple but really powerful equation, right? You display your wealth, you invite danger and envy. You keep it hidden, you guard your peace and your safety.
So the bottom line here is that your silence is pretty much the most secure vault you have for your wealth. The moment you reveal what you've got, you're not just risking your stuff, you're risking your own peace of mind.
Okay, so now we're going to shift gears. We've talked about protecting what you have. Now let's talk about safeguarding where you're going. These next few secrets are all about protecting your future ambitions and your most vulnerable spots.
The third rule is a big one. Keep your plans to yourself until they are actually done. You know those people who announce every single move they're going to make? They often find their path blocked before they even get started. Because look, announcing a plan is not the same thing as achieving it.
Socrates tells this great story about a merchant who had this brilliant idea for a new spice shop. He was so excited, he told everybody about it. Well, a rival overheard him, acted faster, and just stole the entire market right out from under him. The poor merchant was left with nothing but an empty dream. Your plans are kind of like seeds. If you show them off before they're planted, someone else might just go ahead and sow them for themselves. Now, this fourth secret, man, this one is absolutely critical. The day you reveal your weakness to someone else, you are basically handing them a weapon. You are giving them a literal roadmap to your own defeat.
I mean, this just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? Socrates told a story about a soldier who was terrified of arrows. He confided this to a comrade who, later, you guessed it, joined the enemy. In the very next battle, that former friend directed all the archers to target that one soldier who fell instantly. Your fears are yours to manage, not to advertise.
Okay, our third and final set of secrets goes even deeper. This is about protecting something you can't even see, but it's incredibly valuable: your character and your integrity.
So the fifth secret is this. A good deed that you talk about stops being a virtue, and it just becomes an act of pride. Real charity doesn't need an audience. When you announce how generous you are, the act isn't about helping someone anymore. It's about boosting your own ego. This is such a crucial distinction, isn't it? The real reward for doing something good is the act itself, that internal feeling of rightness, not getting applause from the outside. The moment you go looking for praise, it stops being about kindness and just becomes a transaction.
Now, the sixth secret is a hard one for a lot of us to accept. Don't share the stories of your failures and your humiliations. While you might think you're sharing a lesson in resilience, the world often just sees the weakness. They might not see a story of struggle. They might just see you as someone who fails. And this is probably the most profound point on the whole subject. When you detail your failures, you are literally providing a blueprint for how to defeat you. You're showing them exactly where to hit you next time. Keep your head up, even when it hurts. Turn your struggle into a lesson for others only after you've already won. And that brings us to the final and, maybe the most important secret of all. Socrates actually called this the greatest wisdom, the one that kind of ties everything else together.
And the seventh secret is this: when you do good, or make a sacrifice, or chase a dream, do it without expecting any praise. The moment you start looking for a reward from other people, that pure act turns into a business deal.
Socrates had this beautiful metaphor for this. He said seeking praise from the world is like trying to find the smell of flowers from the sea. You're only going to find disappointment. The true reward for doing good is the light it creates inside your own heart. That is your prize. Do things for the right reasons, not for applause. Because people forget, but your own character, it always remembers.
So, as we wrap this all up, the message from Socrates is just crystal clear. Look, anyone can talk, but knowing when to be silent, well, that is a true art form. It's a skill that once you master it, protects you from the world and honestly, from yourself.
So here they are, the 7 pillars of Socratic wisdom, all about the power of secrecy. Every single one is a tool designed to protect your world, your future, and your character. From your family life to your biggest dreams, just remember that sometimes silence can be your strongest shield.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. In a world that never, ever stops talking, how can you use these ancient lessons to turn your silence from just an absence of words into your most powerful strategic asset? That's something worth thinking about.